Hi guys, so I wasn't planning on doing this video today. I was planning on editing my book shopping video, which is coming later this month, and just filming an intro to that. I still might do that, but let me tell you the story. So last night I watched 3 A Little Life vlogs, and if you don't know what that is, A Little Life is a book that is known for making people cry and experience trauma. And I have not read the book, but I enjoy watching the videos because they are kind of funny, and I watched that, and then I got onto Instagram and I was scrolling through my reels, and the emotional damage reel came up, right? And it was like, you know, emotional damage, whatever, right? I was like, oh, I should do that reel. I don't do reels very often. I was like, I should do that reel. So I started like looking through my bookshelves and picking out books, and realized there are a lot of books that have caused me emotional damage. I don't know if that just makes me a wimp or what, but I figured it would make a pretty good video. I'm just gonna get started. Some things you've probably heard of, some of them you probably haven't. So I will start with one you probably haven't heard of, and that is Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo. So this is a story about a Vietnam veteran, but here's the twist. He was blown up in Vietnam. He does not have his arms. He does not have his legs. He is deaf and blind, but he is still alive. So, and the book is from his perspective. So as you can imagine, it's pretty traumatic. It is incredibly good. It is a commentary on war, the effects of war, veterans, PTSD, brotherhood through trying times. It's an incredibly good book, and I wish this was one that I hope that everyone reads at some point. Another book I would recommend as far as this subject is All Quiet on the Western Front. If you didn't read it in school, go ahead and pick it up because it is actually worth it. But yes, I still think about this book on the daily, and I read this when I was in college. I still think about it. It's pretty intense. So, love this one. All right, the next one. Another book that I read forever ago, and I read it as a library book. I think I was in like middle school. I read it as a library book. I still thought about it a lot. So when I got older, I decided I would hunt down a copy and reread it, and I did that, I want to say about a year ago. There is actually a series coming out about it, but it is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. So this is about, I want to make sure I have the right time. Yeah, the Gold Rush. So Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. This is about a prostitute and a man of God in the 1850s in California's gold country. So the main character, her name is, what is her name again? Angel. Her name is Angel. She has been forced into prostitution since she was a child. She goes out west where she works in a brothel. There is a man who comes into her life. He is a godly man. This is a Christian romance. So he's a godly man. He meets her, and God tells her that he needs to be with this woman, and it goes through the relationship. It is a really amazing love story. It really is. It's all about Angel healing and her husband learning to love her no matter what, like an enduring love, and knowing what that is. It is absolutely beautiful. It is worth it to read it. Like I said, is it a Christian romance? I would still recommend it to those who aren't Christian, just because it is such a good book. It really is. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna watch the show or not. I feel like it would ruin the book for me. I loved it a lot. I just don't wanna see that happen. I experienced emotional damage. Obviously, if I'm still thinking about it. Along those same lines, we're gonna go with The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. So I loved this book. I have not read the second one yet. You get so involved with the characters and their backstories that when things happen to them, you feel it deep down in your heart. Loch Lamora himself, they all have really like heartbreaking backstories. It's a found family trope. It's a troop of thieves in a like port city. I want to say it's like a port city. And they are all gangs. So there's like gang wars going on right now. And like I said, there's a found family. Loch Lamora is like the head of this found family. Everyone is a special character. They have like twins who make bombs. There's like the big brute character. There's Loch Lamora, who's like the brains behind everything. And I think the thing that touched your emotions the most was there is a father figure, and he is the one who grabbed all these orphans, because they were all orphans, brought them together. That you watch them become a family through flashbacks of each of these characters' perspectives, and you just feel it. You feel the whole journey that these guys go through. And then by the end of it, when they're experiencing people dying, their, you know, hideout being blown up, all this stuff, like, you feel it. And I loved that about this book. So definitely another one. Let's see. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. So I was late to the bandwagon on this one. However, this one is a science fiction book, probably one of the few that I really enjoy, where I believe it's time traveling. Thinking back, it involves a multiverse. So this man learns how to like time travel, change things, but he gets caught up in a multiverse. And the emotional part about this is that him and his wife. So he goes through like I said, another universe. He loses his wife. He's trying to get back to his wife. He sees all these other different people and how their lives, versions of himself, and how their lives ended up with or without this woman. And at the end of it, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but at the end of it, he gets back to his own timeline. However, all his other selves want his wife, specifically the version of his wife. And so now he has to battle it out, and it is very, my son is just, he wants to read too, and it's very traumatic. And I absolutely love that love story. Yeah, definitely, like I said, it's another book that I just think about. It's, I think that's kind of marks the books that I have emotions about, is that I constantly think about them. I reference them, they come to my mind all the time. Another one which you guys are probably tired of hearing about if you are on my Instagram, but The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I finished The Nightingale. I'm starting on The Four Winds, but I have to say The Great Alone is probably the one that I have experienced the most emotional damage from. It is about a young woman who travels with her family to the Alaskan wilderness. Her family is abusive. Her father suffers from PTSD, and he is an alcoholic, and he takes it out on his family. And it shows the young woman's relationship with her mother, and how much she loves her mother and wants to see her be better, and her mother's love for her father, and the main character's love as well for her boyfriend, and how they live and how they survive, and what love really means, and what it's like to love someone who may be damaged, and the good sides and the bad sides of both of those, like both spectrums of toxic and traumatic and abusive and loving and kind, and that aspects. So definitely like this one. I think this one was different, and I'll probably get a bit more into it in my Kristen Hanna video, but this one's a little bit different because of the setting. So this is just the Alaskan wilderness. It's not a historical fiction in the sense that it's set in like World War II, or it's set during the Great Depression, or it's set during a specific time where you, as the reader, has some historical knowledge about that event, so you're like anticipating what's going to happen, and you know something's going to happen. This one's a little bit different because it's in the Alaskan wilderness, and so there's no big setting event that is going to happen that you know that these people are going to have to experience. It literally is just surviving out in the wild. So I highly recommend this book, and once again, it's going to be a book that I think about a lot because I loved it so much. The next two are well known and loved in the YA community. The Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. It is the finale to the Hunger Games series, as if you don't know. now you do. And when I first read it, I did not understand it at all. So I was like, why is this main character acting this way? Why is Katniss acting this way? I don't understand. She's such a wimp. What's going on? And I remember having the conversation at the high school at the time with my teacher, and she was like, well, she is from her perspective, but she's also suffering from PTSD, so you have to take that into account. And then I reread it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it just like clicked in my head, and the Mockingjay has forever stuck with me since then. It's probably one of my favorite out of the three. I mean, can we just talk about the epilogue and Katniss's decision on who she was going to love and why she was going to love that person, and why she was going to love that person. She had an option to love either person in her little love triangle, and the decision that she made, I just felt it in my heart. The characters that died in that book, I feel like throughout the entire series, every character that died is like imprinted into my brain because I was so emotionally invested in this series. So the Mockingjay is definitely one that I think about when I think about that real and emotions. The next one, along the same lines, I think the love triangle trope. I know it's been used so many times, and I love this. The Hunger Games kind of follows more of like a traditional love triangle, right? The Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare does not. So this should be the third one. Yeah, so this is book 3. So this is the best love triangle I have ever read. It is also the most emotionally damaging love triangle you have ever read. I have ever read. So this is set in Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter realm, where there's a race of people who are half angel, half human. They fight demons, and this one, specifically this series, is set in a Victorian age, where you meet a character who can see demons. That's normally a sign of you being a shadow hunter, but she's not a shadow hunter, so she gets in with a group of shadow hunters, and they try to figure out what's wrong with her, like why she's able to see demons. It goes throughout her whole history, and there's a love triangle. It is a YA fantasy romance sort of feeling to it. So yeah, the problem with this love triangle is that it's between a group of friends. So she comes into these two male love interests, but they are best friends and they want the best for each other. And she also is feeling feelings for both of them. And one of them makes a decision that means that he can no longer be with this woman. And it's gonna make me emotional. And it's just very sweet and tender, and also like just so sad, right? Like, he has to make a decision to save his life in order to and by making that decision, he will no longer be with the person that he wants to be with, and in that he takes solace in knowing that she's going to be with his best friend, and they can be together and be happy. And that is just everything. It is everything to me. Probably the best love triangle I have ever read, and continues to be so. So yeah, I think that's it so far. After watching all those vlogs of A Little Life, I was very on the fence about getting it or not, or reading it or not, and I think I decided that I am going to go ahead and read it, and we'll see how it goes. You can watch some of the vlogs as well, or read the trigger warnings for A Little Life. Apparently it's a big deal. I won't be making a vlog about it. Nobody needs to see me like that. I probably don't want to remember reading it after I get done reading it, but that is what inspired this book, as well as what inspired this video, as well as the reel for emotional damage. Tell me what books you think about constantly on the daily, who have imprinted you in a way that is emotional, like these ones have for me. And if you've read any of these books, tell me what your thoughts were. And if you've read A Little Life, tell me about it. If you made a vlog of A Little Life, link below, because apparently I love it. And I am gonna go. I think that's what we're gonna do today. Obviously the book shopping vlog is coming your way, as well as a book. See, I picked up the wrong book. I'm such a ding dong. As well as a book shelf organization kind of video. The Mockingjay. I just picked the last one in the book. I was frantically grabbing books because I was like, oh my gosh, all these books. But anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, and then subscribe while you are at it. But thank you. You guys have a wonderful day.